Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have the pleasure of watching one of the highest level female fights that I have seen in a long time. Both these athletes, tremendous in the ring or the cage. We're looking at Janet Todd, who has just been an explosive figure in Muay Thai for North Americans. She did so well within 1FC. And then we have Rodrigues. Rodrigues has a number of wins and one over Stamp Ferretex, who's a superstar for 1FC. She's going to be facing off against Sundell very soon, I think Fight Night 14 on Amazon, and her opponent has 3 wins, no losses. So let's get into watching this fight. Muay Thai, 4-ounce gloves. Something that always impressed me about Janet Todd, with the red shorts on, and I guess a little bit of that red hair happening there in the cornrows or the braids. She is just such a technician. She's just so ahead of the opponents that she seems to face. And her ability to catch, sweep, avoid taking massive damage has just always been incredible to me. Just those exchanges there are fantastic. Rodrigues, I believe, is 25 years old, so quite a bit younger than Todd. You can see slower start. Number one, it's Muay Thai. They have massive respect for one another. But number two, the smaller gloves. You have to respect these 4-ounce gloves. Nice teep there from Rodrigues. Girls look like they're somewhat similar in height, similar in build. Rodrigues maybe with a slight advantage, maybe an inch or 2 taller, but sometimes that doesn't really account for much because arm length is very similar. So I think they're going to be relying both just on their technical skills. It's interesting how Janet Todd is letting herself get backed up. Nice high kick there from her though, but she's letting herself get put very close to the edge of the cage. Rodrigues obviously controlling the middle, even though she's not accomplished loads yet. You can see that she's the one who's putting a little bit more pressure. I'd like to see Todd just put a little pressure, walk forward, and just have that advantage of being a little bit more centered, because once your back hits the cage, you're stuck there for a moment or two. Good first round. Probably, if I had to choose, it would go the way of Janet Todd. A lot of times when I'm commentating these fights that we're watching, I have to recognize that I'm not judging them as best as I could. If I was going to sit down and judge them, I would have no talking and I would be 100% focused. But trying to do both very well is something that's difficult to do, and that's why they have judges and then they have commentators.
Don't wait, we don't have time. Don't have nothing for you there. Just go to fight.
Rodrigues. I'm just going to take a look at her record. I have something up here for her. A win over Stamp Ferretex. It's a majority decision. Stamp, as I understand, is more, I believe, of an MMA athlete, but still to have a win over her just catapults you up the ranks and gets your name known very quick. This is a 5-round fight, by the way, or I believe it is. I think we're looking at a title fight here. Just going to check and see what this upcoming contest is. So she's going to be fighting a week away from now, or I guess that's more like 4 days away from now. She's going to be fighting Sundell for the Muay Thai World Championship at strawweight. So Rodrigues will be challenging for that coming up. Right now, I just feel like Rodrigues is just a step or two behind. And she can easily take over by just initiating a little bit more on her attack. She was, at least in the last round, backing Todd up by just moving forward, and Todd would back up. But I just feel like Rodrigues needs to be first a little bit more often. She was doing a good job throwing the counters before, but be first. Just like that, just waiting a little too long and letting Janet Todd initiate the attacks. Nothing massive landing, but still just slowly slipping behind on the scorecards. There's a good jab, cross missed, but still better than before. I want to take a moment and note the hair of both girls. I know that sounds silly, but I used to have long hair, probably about the same length as these girls. And that was right when I started my amateur career. I got my hair cornrowed a couple times. Good combo there from Janet Todd. And I found the cornrows hurt so much, it was so tight, and it took something like 2 hours that I'm just like, yeah, it's time to cut the hair. Plus I got a job and they wanted me to cut my hair anyway. But I definitely do not miss having to go through those cornrows. So props to the girls for being able to put up with that, because I didn't like it. I feel like Rodrigues has just upped it a little bit now. You can just see as she's trucking forward, her energy has changed, and she's throwing down a little bit more. Walking forward, but engaging now. She looks pretty fearless, I gotta say. Which is impressive because Janet Todd is no joke. We have another round there in the books, and I gotta say, between looking at my phone, looking up some details about the history of these female fighters, I did not watch the whole fight, or the whole round, so I don't actually know who won that one. But I want to take a moment and look at Rodrigues' upcoming opponent while we're in between breaks. Sundell. Let's see what her record is. She has 3 wins, no losses. So, a lot of undefeated fighters in this female division who are going to be facing off against each other, and like they like to say, somebody's O has to go. And it's exciting in boxing when that happens. It seems to put that extra little bit of, oh my gosh, this is such an important fight. It's already going to be for a title, Rodrigues' upcoming one, but who's going to have the first loss in ONE FC? Just adds that extra element of excitement. And I feel like with these two girls now, we're going to be going into a slightly faster paced round. Primarily because, yeah, it's Muay Thai and they pick it up. But both women here just seem extra motivated as soon as they stepped out. It's time to pick the pace up. Round number 3, 4, 5, championship fight, you gotta go. Already some good action. Just extra pressure now from Rodrigues. Janet Todd, walks into a little jab there as she tries her switch kick, but just moves too far forward. Nice left hook from Rodrigues. I feel like at this point, with the amount of backwards movement that Janet Todd has going on, she's gonna have to at some point show Rodrigues that she can stand her ground and get some respect. Rodrigues looking strong in the clinch, sharp little elbows, generating some good power on those, even those side knees. Janet Todd, like I said, just a technician, but it looks like Rodrigues is happy to up the pace now and make this just a little bit uncomfortable. Not a brawl. I don't want to say a brawl because she's being too technical to make it a brawl, but take it outside of that technical pace. Looks like we have a cut on the right eye of Janet Todd. Another elbow just landed to the same spot, and she's getting a little pieced up right now. Rodrigues just up that tempo. And Todd's just gonna have to do something here to get some respect, but it looks like it's gonna be hard to slow down Rodrigues. Really gotta clip her hard. But she's young and she looks like she probably has that fire that if you clip her, she might even push forward even harder. They're gonna take a moment and check this cut. I was watching a fight today with Superlek versus Rod Tang. There's a massive cut, but it was on the top of the head. Once it starts getting close to the eye like that, they definitely are more concerned. I think this one might be on the side as opposed to above. Above is a danger because then the blood starts draining into the eye. But I think this one will be safe, and most likely they will continue. Janet Todd has that complexion, that slightly fairer skin, but with the freckles, where I feel like bumps and bruises are going to show up that much more. I don't have the freckles, but I have the lighter complexion, and a lot of times that my legs or my body will just get that extra little welt or red, even though there's no actual physical damage aside from on the skin. It doesn't look good. And Janet Todd, she's really trying, but still this round right now has to be going to Rodrigues. They are quite quick to break the clinch in 1FC. Definitely don't let it stall. They want action, action, action. So we are now going to be entering the championship rounds. Rodrigues is just willing to stand in there and bang. Looks like her eyesight is just locked on. And that's a big part of confidence. If you can see everything, you're not as worried about getting hit, because you know that if you see it, the damage is going to be much, much less.
Keep the hands snappy, follow with the legs. And her leg kick's still there.
A little welt under the right eye, along with a cut for Janet Todd. It's exciting watching, I don't want to say the girls, these are women obviously, but I'm just going to say the girls. Guys, the girls. It's exciting watching some girls who have some really solid skills. Technically, just everything's so beautiful. If you're a younger female fighter out there and you're looking for somebody to provide some inspiration, to be a role model in the ring, you can watch these two and just go, yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like. I'd like to see some counters coming from Janet now. Because Rodrigues is walking forward, you gotta give her a little smack. Just let her know, yeah, you can't walk straight in. When it starts in the kicking battle, that's when Janet Todd has the edge. But once we get to this end height, or the boxing range with the pressure, then Rodrigues starts to take over. So she's doing a good job to make the fight happen right like that, as opposed to maintaining distance. So that maybe Janet could get a couple, I was just going to say, left leg round kicks off, especially as Rodrigues is walking in to stop her attack. Easier said than done, but that could be a game plan to take the fight into her zone. That was a good 1-2 there. Janet landed those. Rodrigues still countered back, but didn't land anything. There's a nice left round kick. trying to halt her. Didn't stop her. It's not like when Bokau throws where people get hit and they just stop in their tracks, but she landed it. And you never know, if you land 3 or 4 of those, the person might start easing back a little bit. Solid defense from both athletes here. Because they're really throwing down, but nothing massive having landed yet. And it's not for lack of trying. It's not like they're being timid. They are going for it. That left round kick is now working really well. This is a very close fight. First round, I thought Todd took it. Wasn't scoring close enough, but Rodrigues, second probably. Third, I would say she definitely took it. This one was much closer. And you never know with judges, but you got to assume this 5th round is super important.
All right, 5th round. These are close. Yep. 5th round comes.
Janet Todd actually trains with somebody named Jackie Boutin, I believe. Jackie Boutin, fantastic fighter as well. And she actually fought Sundell, who Rodrigues is going to be competing. Sundell won that fight against Boutin, but I love watching Boutin and Janet Todd train together. I've seen little clips of them, and they do a very good job flowing, creating through drilling scenarios that look very much like sparring. It's a beautiful thing to watch, those two working together. So here we go. Final round. No point in holding back at this point because a win in this round could give either lady the victory. The knees of Rodrigues look a little more damaging. Janet Todd is no slouch on those side knees, but when Rodrigues throws them, she kind of lifts them up and pierces them down the middle. They look just that much faster and just that much more damaging. That doesn't mean much aside from I just go, if they fall to the exchange, I feel like the damage to the stomach is going to go the direction of Janet Todd. She's going to take more punishment. Nice long guard on entry there. Just deflecting shots. She does it again, just Rodrigues drops her head, posts her arms out, and just walks through the punches, the defensive shots. Too bad we haven't seen any throws yet, because with both girls throwing shots that much from the clinch, knees, I feel like it would be very doable to off-balance your opponent. But they're both so focused, I think, on damage that they're not really thinking about that aspect. Nice little skip there. Looked like it was maybe going to be for a kick, and she initiated the jab instead. Oh, there we go. Just after I said no throws. Lovely little takedown. I got to give a massive thanks to ONE FC for just providing us, myself, with this ability to watch their fights. They obviously remove the commentary, send them over so I can watch and I can talk. It's very nice of them to do. And I hope everybody on the channel appreciates it. There's not many fight promotions that would be willing to do this. Down to the wire here. Nice little throw again. Good way to stamp. This is my round. 2 throws. In a round that is relatively close. There we go. What a fight. What do you guys think? Look at Janet Todd's t-shirt is ripped there. There's a little tear down the middle. Very competitive, very close, very high level fight. Let's skip ahead to the decision. And here we go. Both ladies very polite, very respectful.
This match was presented to you by Toomey. And now to present the belt for this match, we have the chairman and CEO of One Championship.
I gotta say, the belt in 1FC, since they made the change, it was already a cool belt, but then they came up with a new one, and it is gorgeous. I love the size of it. It doesn't always mean bigger is better, but the size just looks so spectacular. It looks just like something special when it's on the athlete's waist. It's probably gonna look gigantic on whichever athlete here wins. Rodrigues, hand in the air. And she gets the win. Champion, beautiful belt, and we can see her fight next week on Fight Night 14 against Sundell, who is undefeated. It's going to be an amazing fight. I hope you guys tune in to watch it, and once again, thank you to 1FC for providing us with today's footage.